What if everything they told you about NASA was a big lie? What if right now top secret documents were leaking, revealing what the space agency never wanted us to know? What would you do if you discovered that definitive proof of extraterrestrial life had been hidden for decades out of the public eye? NASA has always denied it. They always said that the images were just anomalies, that the signals captured in space were nothing more than interference, and that the strange shadows in the Mars photos were just tricks of the light. But now, new leaks are calling this entire narrative into question. Once classified documents have begun to circulate, and what's in them could completely change everything we know about the universe. This evidence is so impressive that, if true, it could prove something that humanity has been searching for centuries. We are not alone. But why would NASA hide information of this magnitude? Fear of global panic, control over what we believe, or simply because this truth is more disturbing than we imagine. In recent decades, astronauts, former NASA scientists, and even U.S. government officials have suggested that there is much more going on behind the scenes than we are being told. Official reports have been archived, recordings of space missions have been cut, and live broadcasts from space mysteriously stop at the exact moment something unusual appears. Coincidence or a deliberate effort to hide the inevitable? Finally, we have something concrete. Classified information revealed by insiders indicates that NASA already has data on extraterrestrial life forms. And this evidence was hidden in the agency's secret files. We're talking about images, scientific analysis, and even intercepted communications that were never released to the public. What if I told you that this evidence goes far beyond simple UFO sightings? That the very structure of NASA was shaped to keep certain discoveries away from the public? Why do some space images appear to be edited before being published? Why do astronauts avoid talking about certain topics in interviews? The answer may lie in these documents that have just been leaked. And today, we're going to analyze every detail of these shocking revelations that could forever change our view of space exploration and the very existence of humanity. Get ready, because what you're about to see could be the greatest discovery in modern history, ... But before I reveal these documents and analyze the evidence that could change everything, I need you to do something important. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel right now. The truth about NASA and extraterrestrial life cannot be buried. And every like and subscribe helps this investigation reach more people. Don't let this information disappear. Now, think with me, ... If NASA really found evidence and hid it, what else could be being hidden? How many missions were censored? How many astronauts know the truth but were silenced? And, most importantly, why didn't they ever talk about it? The truth may be more shocking than we imagine. Leaked documents are just the beginning. Now, let's look at the evidence that could forever change everything we know about space. Get ready. Now that we're about to dive into the leaked documents, I need you to pay close attention, because what you're about to see could be one of the biggest revelations in the history of space exploration. Reliable sources claim that top-secret NASA files were recently exposed, and if they are real, they could prove that we are not alone in the universe. What is most striking is that these documents did not appear out of nowhere. They were leaked by insiders from the agency itself, people who worked behind the scenes and who, possibly, they couldn't bear to live with this secret in their hands any longer. But the big question is, why does NASA insist on hiding this from the public? The material began to circulate in deep web, a territory where a lot of confidential information ends up emerging before being completely erased or discredited. Among the files there are records of intercepted communications, scientific analyses of samples collected on Mars, and even never-before-seen images purported to show anomalous structures on distant moons and planets in our solar system. If all this is true, why were these discoveries never officially announced? Are we facing one of the biggest cover-ups in human history? To better understand the seriousness of this leak, it is important to remember that NASA has always strictly controlled what is released to the public. Nothing leaves there without going through strict filters and approvals. All images, data, and live streams are carefully analyzed before reaching us. This means that if this leaked information is authentic, it represents something that should never have come to light. But why now? Is there a split within the agency itself, with people who want the truth to finally be revealed? Among the documents, one of the most shocking talks about a possible discovery of extraterrestrial microorganisms on one of Jupiter's moons, Europa. Since the 1970s, scientists have suspected that there is an underground ocean there, and now, evidence suggests that life forms may have been detected, but the information has been kept secret. The files indicate that a NASA mission would have collected biological samples, but the data was classified as top-level classified information, meaning they were never released to the public. Furthermore, there are reports of astronauts who had seen something inexplicable during space missions. Some of this information is in the leaked files, including reports of pilots who witnessed unidentified objects moving at speeds impossible for any known technology. Many of these testimonies were archived and treated as delusions or misunderstandings. But now, with these leaks, a new narrative is beginning to emerge. What these astronauts saw may have been real, and NASA knew it all along. And it doesn't stop there. Another leaked document points to an operation called Project Redshift, which would be a program for monitoring signals captured from deep space. According to the file, the program would have detected unusual communication patterns coming from a distant region of the Milky Way. The most shocking thing is that the signals do not look natural and follow a highly complex mathematical pattern, something that it cannot be explained simply as noise from the universe. If this data is confirmed, it means that we have already received contact, or at least an attempt at contact, from something far beyond what we can understand. But why doesn't anyone talk about it? Why did these files need to be leaked by anonymous sources and not announced by NASA? The answer may lie in another document that details the agency's internal policy for handling findings that can have a global impact. According to this guideline, any information that has the potential to generate socio-political instability must be analyzed before being disclosed. And if the disclosure is considered a risk to world order, it can be suppressed indefinitely. This means that NASA may have had access to information about extraterrestrial life for much longer than we realize, but simply chose not to release it. Now, with these leaked documents, the question is no longer with NASA hides something, but what else are they hiding? And most importantly, why now? Are we on the verge of a revelation that would change everything we know about the universe? If this information is true, the impact could be immense. We're talking about completely changing the way we view life, science, religion, and even our own place in the cosmos. If NASA really found hard evidence of alien life, that means we are not unique. We are not the first, and we certainly will not be the last. Now, I want to know your opinion. Do you believe that NASA really has concrete proof of extraterrestrial life? Comment below. NASA hides the truth. If you think these documents are real, or it's just another theory, it is believed that everything is nothing more than speculation. Your comment can help to promote this investigation to more people and increase the debate on this important topic. And stay tuned, because what comes next could be even more shocking. Let's analyze the authenticity of these documents and compare them with statements from former NASA employees that may confirm or deny these findings. Are you prepared for what comes next? If we go back in time and analyze the reports of astronauts, declassified documents, and secret investigations, it is clear that the recent leaks about extraterrestrial life are not an isolated case. For decades, there has been evidence that NASA and other space agencies are hiding information that could forever change our view of the universe. Could it be possible that this evidence has always been before our eyes, but has been deliberately ignored or discredited? The first reports come from none other than NASA's own astronauts, men trained to explore the unknown, whose credibility and experience are unquestionable. Since the first space flights, astronauts have reported strange appearances and objects flying close to your ships, many of them performing movements that defy the laws of physics. One of the most famous cases was that of Buzz Aldrin II, man to set foot on the moon, who claimed to have seen a bright object following Apollo 11 during the 1969 mission. Initially, NASA treated it as a reflection of sunlight, but Aldrin and other astronauts believed there was something more there. Another iconic case involves Gordon Cooper, one of NASA's first astronauts and Mercury program pilot. During a test flight in the 1950s, Cooper claimed to have seen a metallic object landing on the airbase where it was. He immediately reported the incident, and the Air Force registered the case. However, when questioned years later, he revealed that was ordered never to speak about it publicly. Cooper spent his life defending the idea that the government hides information about UFOs, and that astronauts know much more than they can say. But the reports are not just limited to spaceflights. In recent years, secret files have been released by the Pentagon and the CIA, revealing a series of unexplained sightings recorded by military and commercial pilots. The videos released show objects moving at absurd speeds, changing direction instantly, and even disappearing without a trace. What most intrigues experts is that these ships do not emit any type of detectable heat, something impossible for any known human technology. The most shocking case came to light in 2017, when the United States government officially recognized a UFO investigation program called AATIP, Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. This secret program operated for years, investigating incidents involving unknown objects appearing near military bases and even flying over restricted areas of American airspace. If the government itself invested millions to understand these phenomena, doesn't that mean there is something much more than what we are told? And then an even bigger question arises. Does NASA have its own secret program to investigate extraterrestrial phenomena? Many researchers believe so, and some leaked documents seem to point in that direction. For years, there have been rumors about a project called Blue Book 2.0. It's a supposed continuation of the famous Project Blue Book, an official U.S. Air Force study that investigated UFO sightings between 1952 and 1969. If this new version really exists, it means that even after the official end of the project, the government and NASA continue to study these phenomena secretly. Additionally, another enigmatic project called Solar Warden has been the subject of speculation for years. According to some sources, this would be a secret program that would involve a space fleet operated in collaboration between NASA and U.S. military forces. This theory gained even more traction after hackers, such as Gary McKinnon, claimed to have hacked into NASA computers and found references to non-terrestrial officers and unknown space fleets. McKinnon was even legally persecuted for years by the American government, which raises the question, if none of this were real, why so much effort to silence it? We also cannot forget about manipulated images. On several occasions, amateur astronomers and image analysis experts have accused NASA of editing photos before releasing them to the public. A classic example is the case of photos of the Moon and Mars, where several images show evidence of anomalous structures that appear to have been purposely blurred or pixelated. One of the most discussed cases is that of the famous face of Mars, a rock formation that, in the original images, appeared to have human features carved into it. However, years later, NASA released new images saying that everything was just a game of light and shadows. But was it just that, or an attempt to cover up something bigger? And what about the signals captured from space, In 1977, the famous WOW! It was detected by astronomers while monitoring radio waves coming from deep space. This signal was so powerful and distinctive that scientists were in shock. To this day, no one has been able to fully explain it. More recently, other similar signals have been recorded, but NASA and other space agencies always take a cautious tone, avoiding any suggestion that they may have an intelligent origin. Is this part of a strategy to discredit any evidence before the population starts to question it? All of this raises an even bigger question. If so much evidence and reports have emerged throughout the history of space exploration, why do they still insist on saying that there is nothing out there? The U.S. government itself has already admitted that there are objects in the sky that cannot be explained. So why is NASA still pretending none of this is relevant? The answer may be in the recently leaked documents that we are analyzing in this video. Now, I want to know your opinion. Do you believe NASA has a secret program to investigate UFOs and extraterrestrial life? Comment below, the truth is out there. If you think we're close to a big reveal or they'll never admit it, it is believed that this information will continue to be hidden. Your comment can help this video reach more people and open up even more debate about this mystery that NASA has insisted on keeping secret for decades. And if you think this evidence is shocking enough, wait until you see what we found in the leaked documents. The next revelations are even more impressive and may confirm that NASA knows much more than we realize. If the previous evidence is already intriguing, what comes next could be even more disturbing. The leaked documents not only indicate the existence of extraterrestrial life, but also suggest that NASA has been hiding damning evidence for decades. We're not just talking about reports from astronauts or unexplained sightings. Now we have concrete records, detailed information, and, most importantly, evidence that this data was systematically suppressed before it reached the public. But what exactly is being hidden? And why would NASA go to the trouble of hiding something of this magnitude? Latest leaks reveal that NASA may have found living microorganisms on Mars years ago, but never made this discovery public. If you follow the agency's missions, you must remember that, since the 1970s, several probes have been sent to the Red Planet to study its conditions. In 1976, the experiment Viking labeled Release, conducted by the Viking 1 probe, obtained positive results for signs of biological activity in Martian soil. At the time, scientists were excited, but, mysteriously, NASA concluded that the results were inconclusive and has since insisted that Mars was an inhospitable planet with no signs of life. Now, according to the leaked documents, this narrative may have been a way to divert attention from the real discovery. The experiments did detect the presence of alien microorganisms, but the decision was to hide this information from the public. This would make sense if we take into account NASA's new missions, such as the Perseverance rover, which aims to find evidence of ancient life on Mars. But is the agency really looking for evidence, or just laying the groundwork to disclose something that was already discovered a long time ago? And it's not just Mars that hides secrets. Another set of leaked documents points to an even bigger mystery: unnatural structures on the far side of the Moon. That's right. That side of Earth we never get to see may hold secrets that NASA never wanted us to know. Old photographs from the Apollo missions show unexplained formations, which many experts believe are artificial constructions. Theories have circulated for decades that NASA and other space agencies have already detected ruins or even active structures on the lunar surface. But any mention of this is quickly discredited as optical illusion or natural geological formations. The leaked files reveal something even more disturbing. Images were deliberately altered before being released to the public. Many photos of the Moon and Mars go through editing processes before being officially released. In some side-by-side comparisons, you can see that certain details have been erased, blurred, or softened, as if someone was trying to hide something. There are even former employees who claim that NASA has a team specialized in cleaning images before they become public knowledge. But what exactly are they trying to hide? It's not just NASA that has this kind of control over information. The United States government has already admitted that certain classified documents may remain confidential for decades if they are considered too sensitive for the public. This means there is a clear protocol for keeping information hidden, especially information that could impact how society views the universe. If the discovery of extraterrestrial life were confirmed, it could destabilize religious beliefs, shake political structures, and even create global panic. Could this be the real reason for hiding this information? Revelations about image manipulation gain even more strength when we analyze live broadcasts from the International Space Station. Several times during NASA broadcasts, unknown objects appear on the screen for a few seconds before the signal abruptly cuts out. What are these objects? Why is it that whenever something strange comes up, the transmission stops? If it were just satellites or space debris, why doesn't NASA just explain? The agency's silence in the face of these events only further fuels the theory that there is something being hidden. If all this information is confirmed, it means that NASA may have concrete proof of the existence of extraterrestrial life much longer than we imagine. But why have these documents started to leak now? Are there people within the agency who can no longer stand this secret? Or are we on the verge of a controlled revelation, in which the truth will be revealed little by little, so that humanity does not go into shock? After all, if there's something being hidden, it means there's something really big going on behind the scenes. And if it weren't true, why doesn't NASA just come out and deny all of this clearly and objectively? Instead, what we see are vague explanations, interrupted transmissions, edited images, and documents archived under maximum secrecy. Doesn't this raise even more suspicion? Now, I want to know your opinion. Do you believe NASA is hiding information about extraterrestrial life? Comment below. NASA knows the truth. If you believe this is all part of a big cover-up, or there's nothing there, if you think this is all just a coincidence, your comment is essential for this video to reach more people and the debate about this mystery to continue. And don't leave there, because what comes next could be even more surprising. If NASA really has this evidence, what do scientists and former NASA employees say about it? Let's analyze the testimonies that can confirm or deny all these revelations. Are you ready to discover the truth? If all this leaked evidence is already impressive, what about the scientists themselves, who worked or still work within NASA? What do these people who had direct access to privileged information have to say about what may be being hidden from humanity? This is the most intriguing part of this mystery, because when we start listening to the experts, we realize that there is a clear divide between those who follow the official narrative and those who are somehow trying to warn the public without directly compromising their careers or safety. And the question remains, who is really telling the truth? On the one hand, we have scientists linked to NASA and other space agencies who insist that there is no concrete proof of extraterrestrial life and that the leaked documents were misinterpreted or even forged. For these experts, the supposed evidence found on Mars, the Moon, and elsewhere in space are just geological anomalies or natural phenomena that science still does not fully understand. According to this line of thinking, the idea that NASA hides information about aliens is nothing more than a big misunderstanding fueled by conspiracy theories. But is it really? After all, if there is nothing to hide, why do so many people within the scientific community claim exactly the opposite? And that's when things start to get really interesting. Because, on the other side of this debate, we have a series of scientists, former NASA employees, and even military personnel who have already declared, directly or indirectly, that humanity is closer than ever to discovering the truth about extraterrestrial life. Some of these professionals claim that the data already available is more than enough to reassess our place in the universe, and that the only reason this information has not yet completely come to light is the fact that this revelation would be an immense shock to society. Among the best-known names in this debate is astrobiologist Richard Hoover, a former NASA scientist who, throughout his career, found and analyzed several samples of meteorites. In his research, Hoover claimed to have found microscopic structures that do not resemble anything known on Earth, strongly suggesting that they could be fossils of alien organisms. He published these studies, but, as expected, there was a huge effort to discredit his findings. NASA never officially acknowledged his claims, and Hoover became one of many scientists marginalized for challenging the official narrative. But the question remains, if this evidence was really false, why didn't they just prove it definitively? Another case that generated controversy was that of John Brandenburg, a physicist linked to highly classified space programs who declared that there is clear evidence that Mars was home to an advanced civilization in the past, and that this civilization may have been destroyed by a catastrophic event. According to Brandenburg, there is an abnormal amount of radioactive isotopes on the Martian surface, something that could indicate an ancient nuclear explosion. If this is true, we are looking at something much bigger than just the possibility of microbial life on Mars. This would indicate that not only did life exist outside of Earth, but that entire civilizations may have come and gone before humanity even began its history on Earth. And when we talk about former NASA employees who left clues about what might be happening, one of the most curious cases is that of Dr. Norman Berggren, an aerospace engineer who worked directly on NASA projects and who, in the last years of his life, made alarming statements about the presence of gigantic structures in Saturn's rings that appear to be alien ships of unimaginable proportions. Berggren published a book entitled The Ringmakers of Saturn, where he details how these supposed gigantic ships be extracting resources from gaseous planets and moving around the solar system in a controlled manner. The strangest thing is that, after making these revelations, Berggren began to avoid public appearances. And there are rumors that he received pressure to silence his statements. But these are not the only intriguing reports. Several former NASA employees and former military personnel who worked directly with space programs have suggested that there is much more going on behind the scenes than the public realizes. Many of these professionals cannot speak openly, as they are under extremely strict confidentiality contracts, but they drop clues whenever they can. A classic case is that of Ken Johnston, a former NASA employee who stated that, during the Apollo missions, photos were taken of the moon that showed strange structures on the surface. But these images were censored before being released to the public. According to him, there is much more information about the moon that has never been shared with humanity. Another detail that raises suspicions is the security protocols applied in cases of discoveries of extraterrestrial life. NASA scientists and employees are frequently reminded that certain information is considered sensitive and should be treated with caution. Extreme secrecy. But if there is no evidence of life beyond Earth, then why are there so many rules for dealing with this situation? It wouldn't make sense to have such strict guidelines for something that supposedly doesn't exist, and we cannot forget the statements made by senior Pentagon officials in recent years. In 2020, the U.S. government has officially released videos recorded by Navy pilots that show unknown objects flying at impossible speeds, performing maneuvers that defy any terrestrial technology. These videos, which were previously considered conspiracy theories, are now part of an official U.S. government report. This means that the U.S. defense itself already recognizes the existence of aerial phenomena that cannot be explained by conventional science. Faced with so many conflicting tasks, but conflicting testimonies, it becomes increasingly difficult to believe that this is all just a mistake or exaggeration. If there's nothing to hide, why are there so many scientists who have been silenced? so many discoveries that have never come to light, and so many classified documents that still cannot be released to the public. This raises an even bigger question. If NASA really knows more than it's telling, what would be the real reason for hiding this information? Now, I want to know your opinion. Do you believe that scientists and former NASA employees who talk about extraterrestrial life are telling the truth? Comment below. They know more than they tell. If you think this information is being hidden, or it's all just theories. If you believe there is not enough evidence yet, your comment helps spread this research and bring more people to this debate. And don't go away from there, because what comes next could be even more shocking. If NASA really has this evidence, why hide them from the world? Are there political and economic interests behind this mystery? What could happen if this information came to light? Get ready, because the next chapter could change everything. If all this evidence really points to the existence of extraterrestrial life, the big question is, why would NASA, governments, and major world powers hide something so revolutionary? What would be the real reason to keep this information away from the public if it could completely change our perception of the universe and even our future as a species? What is behind this absolute secrecy? These are questions that make us reflect, because if there really is an effort to hide these discoveries, it means that the impact of this revelation could be much greater than we imagine. The first reason for the cover-up could be directly linked to the impact this discovery would have on human religions and beliefs. Since the beginnings of civilization, the world's main religions have maintained that humanity occupies a unique and privileged place in the cosmos. The revelation that we are not alone could deeply shake the faith of billions of people, and for many religious leaders, this would represent a dangerous shock. What if we discovered that we were visited in the past? What if ancient sacred texts, which many cultures interpret as encounters with deities, were actually accounts of contact with more advanced civilizations? These questions are unsettling and could lead to a collapse in the structure of control that governments and institutions have maintained over society for centuries. Another factor that may be behind this cover-up is the fear of chaos and global panic. Imagine that, overnight, world leaders officially announce that extraterrestrial life not only exists, but that has been detected and studied for decades. How do you think the population would react? Would there be a collapse in the financial markets? Would people lose trust in governments? Fear could lead to unpredictable reactions, from economic collapses to mass uprisings. What if this civilization was more advanced than ours? What if we had already been observed for a long time? These questions bring a feeling of vulnerability that humanity has never had to face before. If governments and space agencies actually hold this information, it is possible that they prefer to maintain control of the narrative, releasing small parts of the truth gradually so that the impact is less devastating. But we cannot ignore one of the main reasons that may be behind this secret: absolute control over technology and power. Think about it. If a more advanced extraterrestrial civilization left traces, leaked documents, or even artifacts, whoever has access to this technology will have an unimaginable advantage over the rest of the world. The development of new forms of energy, aerospace technologies capable of defying the laws of physics, propulsion systems that could take us to other planets in a matter of hours. All of these could completely revolutionize society. Now do you think large corporations and governments would simply share these findings with the public? Or would they keep it secret to exploit these technologies only for their own interests? This idea may seem like a conspiracy theory to some, but official documents have already proven that secret projects are a reality. Just remember the Manhattan Project, which developed the first atomic bomb, or the ultra-secret Cold War programs, which involved experiments with cutting-edge technology without the population having any knowledge. Why would it be any different when the subject involves something even grander, like confirming extraterrestrial life? The race for technological domination and information monopoly has always existed. And there is no doubt that whoever controls this technology will have absolute power over the world. What if I told you that there are already rumors that this technology may be being used in secret? There are reports that advances in experimental ships, propulsion systems, and even free energy research can be directly linked to studies on recovered objects. The famous Roswell case, for example, raises suspicions to this day. What really fell in that city in 1947? Why did the armed forces take such drastic measures to cover up the incident? And even more intriguing, why was there such an accelerated technological revolution shortly after this event? With advances in computing, telecommunications, and the development of new materials. If there is such deep secrecy surrounding the subject, it is because the impact of these discoveries is not just scientific. It directly affects global control over resources, knowledge, and power. And this raises another very important question. If there is such a huge effort to keep this hidden, will this truth escape at some point? Are we close to a time when this information can no longer be hidden? Are NASA and other agencies already preparing for a controlled revelation, little by little, so that society gets used to this idea before official confirmation? Now, I want to know your opinion. If NASA really revealed tomorrow that we were being watched, how would you react? Can you believe that this information has been known by governments and corporations for a long time? Comment below. They know everything. If you think this truth is being hidden or we still have no proof, it is believed that there is still a lot to be discovered. Your comment is essential to help this video reach more people and keep this debate alive. And stay tuned, because what comes next could be even more revealing. If there is control over this information, what could happen if this truth were revealed all at once? And most importantly, are there signs that this revelation may be closer than we imagine? Get ready, because the next chapter could completely change the way we see the future of humanity. If all this information really is true, then we are facing one of the most crucial moments in the history of humanity. If NASA and other space agencies hide hard evidence about extraterrestrial life, what does that mean for our future? How could this impact not only science, but also the way we live, relate, and plan the future of space exploration? The scariest thing is not just the possibility that we have already detected signs of intelligent life, but rather the idea that official contact may already be happening behind the scenes, out of the public eye. If this is true, who is in control of these interactions? What is being negotiated? And why hasn't this information come to light yet? If governments and large corporations are already in possession of extraterrestrial knowledge, it could mean that we are about to witness an unprecedented technological revolution. Advanced technologies, which today seem like science fiction, may already be in secret development, just waiting for the right moment to be introduced into society. Mastery of new materials, clean energy sources, and propulsion methods that could take us to other planets in a few days would completely change the rules of the game. If this information were released to everyone, any nation could have access to a new era of discovery and advancement. But is this revelation being controlled to keep certain powers at the top? Looking at future space missions, we see that there is an increasing effort to reach Mars and establish permanent colonies in space. Companies like SpaceX, led by Elon Musk, are already testing technologies that will allow human presence on other planets. And NASA itself has advanced projects to create lunar bases that will serve as a support point for the exploration of the solar system. But there is something strange about this space race. Why such urgency? Why do so many billion-dollar nations and companies seem desperate to get off Earth? This may be directly linked to something we don't yet know. If there really is extraterrestrial life, and this life is intelligent, this means that we are not exploring space alone. Are we already interacting with advanced civilizations? Have certain groups within governments already established protocols for dealing with these entities? Or worse, is space exploration already following directions given by intelligences that don't even belong to Earth? These questions may seem radical at first glance, but when we analyze the growing number of leaks, reports from scientists, and former employees, as well as the movement of governments to increase their space investments, it becomes clear that there's something much bigger going on behind the scenes. What if Mars isn't just a scientific exploration destination? What if the real reason to colonize other planets is much more urgent than we imagine? Many theorists suggest that there is a hidden plan to ensure humanity's survival beyond Earth, a plan that may be being accelerated because those in power already know something that has not yet been revealed to the public. Climate change, depletion of natural resources, and even a possible threat from space could be reasons for this desperate race. But is this plan for all of us, or just for a small elite who control this information? Artificial intelligence can also play a fundamental role in this scenario. With increasingly rapid advances in automation and the development of autonomous systems, some say that AI could be the key to deciphering extraterrestrial communications, understanding unknown technologies, and even predicting future space-related events. There are already systems being trained to interpret unusual patterns captured from deep space. If one day these systems detect a signal that proves the existence of intelligent life, who will be the first to know? Do you think this information will be immediately shared with the world, or will it be restricted to a small group, as has happened so many other times throughout history? Now I want to know your opinion. Do you believe we are close to a revelation that could change everything? Do you think space colonization and the advancement of technology are being accelerated because governments know something that has not yet been revealed? Comment below. The future is already being decided. If you believe there is a hidden plan behind all this, or space exploration is still a mystery, do you think this is all still in the early stages? Your comment is essential to keep this debate alive and bring this investigation to more people. And stay tuned, because what comes next could be even more impressive. If this revelation is really close, how will it be done? And most importantly, who will control this information when it finally comes to light? Get ready, because the answers may be more surprising than we imagine. If we've come this far, one thing is certain: there are more questions than answers when it comes to NASA and the possible cover-up of the existence of extraterrestrial life. From the leaked documents to the testimonies of former employees, to the inconsistencies in the images released to the public, everything points to a scenario where the truth may be being hidden from us for reasons that go far beyond what we can imagine. But what does this mean for the future of humanity? What might be being kept secret behind the scenes at space agencies and global governments? Whether for religious, economic, or political reasons, the truth is that there is a clear pattern of information manipulation when it comes to space discoveries. If there really is nothing to hide, why is there so much censorship? And why do so many scientists and astronauts claim they have been silenced? Fear of public reaction. What impact could this revelation have on society? Or has there already been secret contact with advanced civilizations, and this information is gradually being released so that the population gets used to the idea before official confirmation? And there is another point that we cannot ignore. If NASA really found evidence of the existence of alien life and decided to hide it, who is in control of this information? Is it just governments and space agencies? Or are there corporate interests involved? After all, whoever owns the technology has power. And if scientific advances derived from possible extraterrestrial contact are being used for private purposes, this means that humanity as a whole is being left behind in a race to control the future. Now imagine the impact of a revelation of this size. If tomorrow NASA came up with irrefutable proof that extraterrestrial life exists, how would humanity react? Would there be a collapse in power structures? Would science and technology take an unimaginable leap forward? Or would all this lead to a period of uncertainty, fear, and narrative manipulation? And most importantly, if this truth really came to light, who would guarantee we would be getting the full story? If you've made it this far, it means this video impacted you in some way. And if you want to continue exploring the mysteries that NASA may be hiding, you need to subscribe to the channel right now. Here, we're always analyzing leaked documents, shocking revelations, and hidden connections that could change everything we know about the universe. So don't miss anything. Also, if you watched until the end, I want to know that you are part of this select group that seeks the truth. Comment below, "The truth cannot be hidden," so I know that you followed to the end and want more content like this. Your comment is essential for this video to reach more people and so that we can continue this investigation together. So, you already know. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and leave your comment right now, because what's coming could be even more surprising. Now that you've seen the evidence about what NASA might be hiding, get ready for something even more intriguing. Leaked documents indicate that water has been found on Mars for much longer than has been officially disclosed. But why was this information never made public? This could change everything we know about space exploration and even explain the real reason why Mars has become a priority for governments and billionaires. What else could be being hidden? The answer may be closer than we think.